Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Star Trek's greatest tribute to Leonard Nimoy is one fans rarely see. Nimoy earned a permanent place in the pop culture landscape thanks to his portrayal of the Vulcan Spock. Nimoy passed away over a decade ago, and the franchise mourned him in many ways. IDW got in on the act in 2015's Star Trek #58 with a fitting tribute. Star Trek #58, written by Mike Johnson and drawn by Tony Chastain, was the finale of the four-part Legacy of Spock storyline. The story was set in the Kelvin timeline. The arc was a celebration of Prime Spock's life and work, particularly in the area of relations with the Romulans. Leonard Nimoy already had an impressive filmography when cast as Spock, but it would end up being his best-known role. Nimoy's relationship with the Vulcan he brought to life was a rocky one, and it took a good deal to persuade him to return to the role. Nimoy eventually came to terms with Spock and embraced it. Nimoy's portrayal of the half-human, half-Vulcan Spock made the character the most popular on Star Trek. Nimoy appeared as Spock in other popular television programs of the day, such as The Carol Burnett Show. Fan clubs sprung up across the country, and Nimoy even found himself, albeit reluctantly, a sex symbol. Leonard Nimoy passed away on February 27, 2015, and the Star Trek franchise went into a period of mourning. Tributes to the actor poured in from all over the world. Star Trek Beyond, released a year after Nimoy's passing, was a formal send-off for Spock, as it was revealed the Vulcan had died. Legacy of Spock shows that Spock's influence stretches across the multiverse. Prime Spock is directly responsible for creating the Kelvin timeline and is indirectly to blame for Vulcan's destruction. Once the dust settled, Prime Spock vowed to stay out of history's way and let his Kelvin counterpart find his own path. Yet as seen in IDW's Kelvin set Star Trek book, Prime Spock continued to work behind the scenes. In an earlier arc, a faction of the surviving Vulcans sought revenge on the Romulans, and Spock played a role in diffusing that crisis. His diplomatic work, so integral to his later career, continued in the Kelvin timeline. Central to Spock's diplomatic ambitions was the reconciliation of the Vulcan and Romulan races, and Legacy of Spock pays homage to his attempts. Spock's appearances on Star Trek: The Next Generation proved it would be a long road getting there. Prime Spock's appearance galvanizes a gang of dissident Romulans, ensuring that a rebellion starts in the Kelvin universe as well. In the Prime universe, Spock's efforts at bringing the two races together ultimately succeeded, but it would not be for many more centuries before his dream would be realized. By the time of The Burn, the Romulans, who suffered greatly in the Prime universe, and the Vulcans lived in relative harmony. Legacy of Spock is a stirring and emotional tribute to Spock. At the arc's conclusion, set thousands of years in the future, a Vulcan father impresses upon his child how important Spock was to their race. The child is confused as to why Spock's statue is so small, and the reasoning reinforces why he was an icon in the first place. The storyline is also a fitting tribute to the man who introduced the world to Spock, Leonard Nimoy. Spock was a great character because of Nimoy, who brought the character's internal struggles to life. Nimoy's passing left a huge hole in the Star Trek franchise, and its most perfect tribute may have slipped under fans' radars. For nearly 6 decades, Star Trek has honored its legends in ways both overt and subtle. But perhaps no figure has received more reverent recognition than Leonard Nimoy, the man who turned a half-human, half-Vulcan science officer into a cultural monolith. Tributes to Nimoy appear everywhere across the franchise. Memorial lines, statues, dedications, mirror universe echoes, and even entire plot lines built around Spock's legacy. But hidden among those cinematic salutes is a far quieter homage, one so understated that only the most careful fans ever notice it. Instead, it's a philosophical fingerprint woven deliberately into the DNA of a Starfleet officer created long after Nimoy first raised an eyebrow on the original bridge. And because of that, it might just be the most profound tribute Star Trek has ever offered. To find this tribute, you need to look past the iconic mind melds, the Vulcan salutes, and the emotional farewells. You need to step into the 23rd century hallways of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, where a young, untested Spock is only beginning to understand what it means to be himself. But the tribute isn't about him. Instead, it's about Captain Christopher Pike, and the way Strange New Worlds uses Pike's calm, steady leadership to mirror what Nimoy brought to Star Trek, a philosophy of compassion, balance, and emotional intelligence that often existed in quiet contrast to Kirk's boldness. The real tribute isn't a character or a moment. It's a manner of being. The writers intentionally infuse Pike with a set of qualities that Nimoy brought to Spock: the gentle authority, the measured tone, the reflective silence. Pike is not meant to resemble Spock the character. He resembles Spock's teacher, the ethos that Nimoy cultivated for decades. If Kirk was the action and McCoy was the emotion, Nimoy was the calm between them, the stabilizing center of the Enterprise's chaotic orbit. Through Pike, the franchise resurrects this energy without ever saying so aloud. Fans sometimes assume Pike is written this way because he must represent the ideal Starfleet captain. But that's only part of the truth. Nimoy's passing in 2015 deeply affected the Star Trek creative world. Many of the same storytellers, producers, and historians who helped shape Strange New Worlds viewed Nimoy not only as a foundational actor, but a guiding philosophical force. The franchise wanted to honor him in a way that was more than symbolic, something woven into the emotional fabric of the show. While this subtle tribute runs through the entire series, one episode in particular crystallizes it: Memento Mori. It's easy to watch it as a tense Gorn horror story, but beneath the action is Pike's driving philosophy. Every life matters, even in fear. He does not bark commands or force heroism. He guides, supports, and anchors the terrified young officers around him. His leadership has a quiet spirituality to it. He teaches by presence, exactly as Nimoy did whenever he stepped onto a Star Trek set. The moment that seals the tribute is not dramatic, nor action-packed. It's when Pike kneels beside a shaken crew member, looking her in the eyes, and reminds her that fear is a teacher, not an enemy. It's the kind of emotional clarity Spock often discovered logically. Pike articulates it humanly. So why is this tribute one fans rarely catch? Because unlike the overt memorials to Nimoy, like Spock's beautiful farewell in Star Trek Beyond or the timeline-spanning appearance of Ambassador Spock in the Kelvin films, this one is woven more quietly, almost spiritually, into the character of Pike. You don't see it, you feel it. Nimoy believed Star Trek's job wasn't to tell us what to think, but to inspire us to question what we think, to consider new angles, new philosophies, new ways of understanding what it means to be human. Pike embraces that mission in every conversation, every crisis, every moment of doubt. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.